last class we had stopped in algorithms. There was an assignment given, algorithm to convert meters into centimeters. Here is the solution for that. First we have to write start, input the values in meters, let us call it as meters, and calculate the value in centimeters by multiplying the value in meters by 100. So, here is the solution, centimeters is equal to meters into 100. Output, that will be in centimeters, then end. This was a simple algorithm to convert meters into centimeters. Now, next we will see flowchart. Earlier we saw what are algorithms. Now, we will see the next concept, that is flowchart. Now, what is a flowchart? Flowchart is a diagrammatical representation of an algorithm as well as of a program. Whenever we write a program, our first point is to write the algorithm, then make a flowchart of that program. Flowchart will help the programmer to understand what are the steps in writing the program and how to make the program more optimized. So, in flowchart, a flowchart is drawn according to the defined set of rules which are as follows. There are certain boxes for different implementations of a flowchart. Now, here is the description about the flowchart, that how is a flowchart. There is an entry point in a flowchart. There are arrows to show the flow of a particular flowchart and symbols used to identify which image is for what. Now, this is a small flowchart example of a flowchart, how a flowchart looks. Here we have a box to show the input of the program. This diamond shape specifies any condition written. Here we will write any condition of the program, and this box again will specify the output, that what is the output of the program. Input and output box is the same. The processing will be different, which will be in the between. Now, we will see an example. Okay. These are flowchart symbols. Terminator, this is how terminator will be written, and input output box, process box, decision box, like the one which we saw in this example. This is the decision box. This is a predefined process box. If there is a subroutine or an interrupt program, then we use that. And these are the arrows, as I told before, to show the flow of the program, and next is connectors to connect the flowchart. This is an example to find the area of a square of sides S. Here we have the start point, input x, whatever is the input will be written in this box, input x, and the square box identifies the formula or the process what has to be written, and then print s. Here we do not have any condition, so we will not use the diamond shape. If we have any condition, for example, if we are using any loop or we have to specify any condition, we will have the we will use the decision box. Here we do not have any condition because it is a simple program to print or to find the area of a square, that is how to find the area of a square, s into s. So, simply in that square box I will write area is equals to s into s and then print area, finish. Start and end box will be the same, else everything will change according to the condition of the program. There is one more example to make flowchart more clear, that is to find the area of a rectangle of length L and breadth B. We have given two inputs, that is L and B. We have to use L and B to find the area of a rectangle. So, again the program the flowchart is very simple. where we have a start button. We will input L and B. These are my input values, and then we will find the area. Area is what? L into B, L multiplied by B, and then print area. Once we have the value of L and B, we can just print the area of the rectangle and then end. So, this was another example of flowchart. We will move towards the next concept, that is program methodologies. What are program methodologies? Program methodologies consist of mainly two types, that is procedural programming and object oriented programming. First, we will see what is procedural programming. Procedural programming is nothing but where a problem is divided into multiple blocks or procedures to come up or to end up to a solution, right? Where, for example, here, for example, they have written, I have to make a program on calculator. Calculator consists of addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, and so on. So, these are, what is addition? What is addition over here? Addition, multiplication, subtraction and division, all these are known as the blocks, or I can say block of codes, right? These are all block of codes. These block of codes, I will write it separately, and all these codes will be combined together, to make a program. So, this is called as procedural programming, where I will follow each procedure, or I will do it procedure wise to complete a specific problem or to complete a specific program. Next concept is object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is an OOPS concept where we deal with different entities and objects of the program, where each program is written using entities and objects. Here the solution revolves around entities or objects that are part of the program. In procedural, it was totally different. We will write blockwise programming and then they are combined with each other. Here it will only revolve around entities and the objects that are part of the problem. Okay. For example, to develop a payroll management system, if I want to develop a program for payroll management system, what will be the entities? Entities will be employees for whom I am building the, for whom I am making the problem. Then their salary will be another entity, salary structure, and if they are taking any leave, what are the leave rules and etc. Before doing the payment to a particular employee, the entire history of 1 month is calculated, how many leaves that person has taken, what type of leave that person has taken, and did he go for a long leave or did he go for a half day or whatever it is, and depending on their salary structure, I will calculate the salary of that particular person and then that salary will be generated. So, these entities has to be considered before calculating a particular condition or before making any program. So, this is called as object oriented programming. Next is introduction to C++. In object oriented programming, we will see a particular programming language, that is introduction to C++, C++ programming language. Now, C++ is made up of multiple source code files that cater to different components such as main function, member function, class definitions, headers, standard headers, comments, variables, data types, namespaces, input output statements, and so on. There are built-in functions, there are classes, constants, keywords, operators, and so on. Here in C++, all the object oriented properties will be discussed. Okay. Now, let us move forward. What are data types? Now, there are multiple data types used in any programming language. Since we are talking about C++ programming language, the main data types that are used, they are Boolean. Now, Boolean is what? True and false. Only true and false. It will return only true and false value. Character is known as the string. We can call it as the string value also, where single character, letter, numbers or ASCII values are there. Int are whole numbers without any decimal, like 2, 4, 24 and so on, no decimal value. Float values are fractional values, that means they can contain a decimal value, plus they can have more than 2 decimal values together also. That there also I can define a float value in the program. But if there are any number which consists of more than 6 to 7 decimal values, then I should write it as double. Then I should write it as double, sufficient for storing 15 decimal digits. So, I will specify it as a double value. So, these are the main data types that are used in C++. Now, variables. Variables are very important in any programming language. What are variables? Variables are nothing but they are the name of any particular entity. Like if I write it as, if I want to print the area of a square, S is what? S is a variable over there, right? So, S value I can give it as 5. So, how will I calculate the area? S into S, that is 5 into 5 is equals to 25. So, variable is the name given to any value. For example, syntax is type variable name is equals to value. Variable name, suppose if I put S over here and the value is 5. So, S becomes the variable name and 5 becomes the value. Now, I can write multiple variable name in the same program also. That is, if I have written int my num is equals to 15, then my num again I can write same variable name is equals to 10. That is, overwrite a value. The value of my num will be overwritten when I see the next line, that is overwrite a value in C++ programming. This was all about variables. Now, how to declare multiple variables together? Here in the previous program, I was declaring each variable in each line, like my num in this first line, and then in the second line again I was defining the second variable as my num is equals to 10. Else, normal way also, how do we write? In first line we write int x is equals to 5, int y is equals to 2, int z is equal to 10. Okay. So, here semicolon, we terminate the program using the semicolon. Okay. This is how we write each variable name in each line. But I can also write multiple variables in a single line also. Like first I am writing int main, then int x is equals to 4, I can just put a comma and then write y is equals to 5, z is equals to 2, and then I can put a semicolon. Even this is acceptable in C++ programming. And then next line is cout x plus y plus z. and return 0. X plus y plus z will be 4 plus 5 plus 2 and return 0. So, this will be calculated and given as the output. So, this was all about declaring multiple variables. Next is what are constant. Constant keyword means unchangeable and read only, something which is constant or cannot be changed or cannot be altered. Like for example, in int main, constant int my num is equals to 15 is written. Now, when I am writing a constant variable name over here, constant name over here, that means the value of my num should not be changed. That is, if I am overwriting the variable name again, that is my num. Earlier in the previous program, we saw that my num was written as 15 and then again I am overwriting the variable name and I was writing it as my num is equals to 10. The value of my num was altered over here. But here when I am writing a constant keyword before the variable name, that means the value of my num cannot be changed in the program. That is, if constant int my num is written, then the value of my num will be 15, it will not change to 10. And then when cout is written, when cout will encounter, the output of the program will be 15, because since I have written a constant keyword, the value of my num will not change. Next concept is operators, that is in this first one is arithmetic operator. Now, what are arithmetic operators? Arithmetic operators are nothing but the operators that are used for mathematical calculations. Here we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, increment and decrement. Increment is increasing the value, decrement is decreasing the value. Next concept is assignment operator. What is assignment operator? These are mostly used in C++ depending on the need of the program. First one, equal to stands for simple assign. Simple assign. Plus equal to stands for add and assign. Okay. Minus equal to stands for subtract and assign. Multiplication equal to stands for multiply and assign. Division equal to stands for same, divide and assign. Modulus stands for modulus and assign. And stands for bitwise and and assign. Here also or bitwise or and assign. Here bitwise XOR and assign. Right shift and assign, and this stands for left shift and assign. So, these are the assignment operators. Next concept is comparison operators. Now what are comparison operators? Comparison operators is mainly used to compare between two values or between two variable names, or to compare the values in a program basically. This is double equal to operator, this is not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than, equal to. These are mainly used for conditions in a program. Now next is logical operators. Now what are logical operators? There we have three logical operators over here: logical AND, logical OR and logical NOT operators. This is the example given over here, how they are written in the program of C++. Now our next concept is using comments in a program. Now why do we have comments in a program? For example, if I am writing a lengthy program and continuously I am just going on writing using the syntax, the methods and loops and everything. If I am showing my program to a person which do not have any knowledge of what is going on in the program, that for example to the end user. So the end user must understand that what is the flow of the program. If they are not able to understand the flow of the program, then there is of no use me in writing the program. It should be understandable to other people also. So for that we have comments. Comments are written in hash star. Whatever line is written between this will not be executed by the program. Like for example, if I am writing a loop, if loop I am writing, and for what I am writing, I just need to add a comment over here. This is if loop, right? And then the third person will be able to understand that what is this loop about if I write a comment over here. So that is why comments are very important to identify what is the flow of the program and what are the steps if we want to define it in the English language. So that is why comments are used. Plus, if I want to add or subtract certain codes in a program, but I do not want to erase it, because if I erase it, then that will disappear. So if I do not want to erase it, but I want to add or subtract certain line of codes in a particular program, what I will do is I will add a comment before that line of code, so that that particular line is not executed and other line of codes are executed in that particular program. Header files. Header files are the most important part of any programming language. Here we have header files which is written in the start of any program using a hash. Hash include bracket open iostream.h. So this is how a header file is written. These are those files that store predefined functions. It contains definitions of functions. You can include or import using a preprocessor directive hashtag include, right? This preprocessor directive tells the compiler that the header file needs to be processed before the compilation. With this preprocessor itself, the program will understand that this has to be compiled. Clear? These are few examples of header files: iostream, stdio, cstring, stdio, conio, and so on. So these are few header files that I have stated over here. Next concept is unary operators. What is unary operators? Unary operators is nothing but those operators which are used to calculate the result only on one operand. What is operand? Operand is A, B, C, D. All these are my operands. Urinary operator is calculated only on one operand A, B, C and D. So, urinary operators, I will explain urinary operators in detail in the next class. What are urinary operators, what are the types of urinary operators and how they are being used. That is all for today's class. Thank you everyone.